Hi, I'm ADHD Ant, and I'm actually doing this intro at the end, recording it at the end of my journey. However, I'm going to flip you right back to the start of the journey in a minute. Just wanted to give you a proper little introduction to the video that you're going to watch. So I started to learn about ADHD from my friends on social media channels, etc. Stuff started to look familiar. I started looking into it, went to my doctors, filled out a questionnaire. They scored me highly enough to think that I have ADHD, put me through something called Right to Choose, which is like a third-party supplier via the NHS. I'm based in the UK, in case you can't tell from my very English accent. And I went with a supplier called Psychiatry.uk or Psychiatry UK, something like that. So this is the story of my experience working with them, how it's affected the process of trying out different medications, which is called titration, how that affects certain symptoms of ADHD, how long the process took, etc. So I can do other videos on more around the diagnosis piece, or the symptoms that I have in general. However, this video is around titration, medication, and how that has made me feel. So strap in. Okay, I'm very excited because my ADHD medication has just arrived. I've never taken any before. I'm 40 years old. I was diagnosed age 39. So it's going to be interesting to see the effect that it has on me. So I'm just recording this now for posterity's sake. I've been told that the medication is life-changing. But I've also noticed that I'm going to be starting on quite a low dosage and working up to a higher dosage. So I don't know if I will necessarily feel much at the lower dosage. There's side effects that I'm anxious about, or potential side effects that I'm anxious about. There's, the positive changes that it's going to bring. I'm just here really for the experience and see, how's it going to change my brain? How's it going to change the constant noise up in my head? How's it going to change my ability to focus? Will it help me remember things as well? So, yeah, I'm going to just double check that I've read the instructions on how I take the medicine, and then I'm going to take it and do a little record just in case I have that sort of instant moment of clarity. I think that would be good to show, but also, if not, that's good to show as well if other people are thinking about taking this medicine or what have you. So yeah, just share my experience, but I'm going to go get a drink, go take some medication, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've reviewed the medication, and it does say take it in the morning. It's now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I could take it and risk it, but I think because I'm starting something new and I really want to be able to sort of measure one day against the next, I'll wait until tomorrow to start properly and start having them with breakfast rather than having them with lunch. So I'll try and contain my excitement for one more day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day. It is Thursday, the 16th of May, 2024. And I'm going to take my first ADHD medicine pill. This is Elvance. I'm going to start off with 20 milligrams a day for a week, and then we're going to move up to 30, and then 40 or 50, I can't remember, but it goes up. So I'm not sure if I'm going to feel anything immediately with this, or if this is too low a dosage. It also says that it might make me fall asleep, which is great because, well, the whole point of taking it is that I want to be able to concentrate on my work. I've got some work that needs to be delivered today, and there's a little seal over here that I'm struggling to get open. Ah! Del Monte. There's my cat tearing up the carpet over there. Mimi, what are you doing? Oh God, she came, my tablet's rattling, she thinks it's a toy. Okay, so these are hard tablets. I'm going to swallow them whole with food. So I had toast about 20 minutes ago. That'll do. They are actually capsules, not hard tablets. Here goes. Will this affect my life? Let's find out. Might take a few minutes for the capsule to dissolve in my stomach, so we'll check back in a bit. Hey, so it's been about 2 hours since I took my first pill. I am not sensing a difference in my concentration or memory, fidgeting, and I'm not experiencing the suppression of I forgot words. I forget words a lot when I'm talking. What am I talking about? Not diet, not anxiety. What's the word I'm looking for? As you can see, my brain is about as muddled as usual. Hunger? Hunger? Is that the word? Yeah, my hunger isn't suppressed. In fact, I've just demolished an Easter egg that I found that the kids clearly missed 2 months ago. So that's good, isn't it? I have had a bit of a tingly brain. My head feels a bit tingly. And I am experiencing dry mouth, which was one of the symptoms that was suggested might come up. So I don't know. I think probably it's just a bit of a low dosage, which as I said, I did think that would happen. I mean, I'm on 20 now, 20 milligrams now. In 5 weeks' time, I'll be on 80 milligrams. So I think it's in my system. I think if it was going to have an effect on me, it probably would have by now, it being 2 hours in, but we'll check in a bit later if there's any big changes. Okay, time for an update. I have felt like I've gotten with my work a little better, and I did have the energy to cycle to the shop to get some stuff that we needed for dinner and for my kids to take to school tomorrow. However, once I was paying, I realised I had forgotten the main thing that I wanted to buy and had to go back in, so memory's still not great. Also, the word I was looking for earlier was appetite. My appetite suppression hit pretty much when I hit Sainsbury's, and suddenly looking at all the food made me feel very unhungry, and it was difficult to buy something for dinner. See how the rest of the day goes. Hello. So it has been actually about 5 days since my last update. So I'll just fill you in on a few bits. And obviously I forget to record every day because I have ADHD. I have great intentions and then I don't do things. That's all part of it. But I've got a minute now where I'm actually thinking about it. So I'm just going to update you on any changes and what I've had to do and what have you. So day 1, I did really have quite extreme dry mouth. I drank so much water on day 1, and I did feel like I had appetite suppression. I didn't eat lunch, basically, on the first day. Both of those things, hair in my mouth, lovely. Both of those things have dissipated. I might get I think I still get minor dry mouth, but not to the point where I'm having to drink water all day. And maybe I'm not excited about lunch, but I'm eating lunch. So, although I do think I might be snacking less, which is good because I work from home. I am 40 and I just snack all day, and that middle-age spread is hitting in. So I really don't mind if the pills just stop me from snacking all day. So I took the 20 milligrams once a day for 5 days, and then I had to fill out a form that just said how do you feel? What have the side effects been like? Has it affected your ADHD symptoms? And then have to do a little health check. So I've got a home blood pressure machine, so I just have to do my my blood pressure. I think mentioned, I don't know if these are the right words, systolic, and the other one starts with DIA. What's that? Diastolic? I don't know. Just whatever, 2 different types of blood pressure plus your beats per minute. The only problem is when I know I'm going to do my blood pressure, I feel my blood pressure go up. Like I think, oh God, I'm going to do something. And it just immediately makes it go up. So I have to sort of go and get the machine, hook it up on my arm like gently, and then just like chill for like 10-15 minutes and just calm down, maybe look at my phone, watch TV, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling calmer now. And then I do it, because it makes a big difference. It really does. Like the first time I did it, I was like, oh my God, it's like over 100 beats per minute. And I normally have a really low, like almost stupidly low, like beats per minute. I'm normally at like, when I'm at rest, it's 40 to 60. That is low, which is probably good for this really, because it means I've got somewhere to go with it. Anyway, when I completed my form and I sent that in, it's all online, I got quite a quick response back saying, hey, that's great. All your health is within acceptable parameters. You can now move up to 30 milligrams a day starting, the next day. So today is my first day on 30 milligrams. Again, I haven't really had that descending moment of clarity or anything. Again, I do feel like maybe my mouth's a little drier today. But it's hard to say what the effects are so far. One thing I will say has really changed is I never sleep very well anyway. I have delayed sleep phase disorder. I sleep in a bed with someone who snores terribly. I have 2 cats, one which likes to sleep at my feet and walk all over me in the night, and the other one that likes to meow to go in and out like twice a night. So I don't sleep well anyway, but my sleep has been worse this last week, and I think probably because of the medication. I've been sort of going to bed at like, I think the worst one was like 2:30. I forced myself to go to bed, and then I was awake at 6. So it's really not good. But the chap that I work with, who's prescribes my medication, he did say appetite should get better, and sleep should get better over time. So hopefully my sleep will improve. But I will try and remember to check in a bit later when the pills had a bit of a chance, because it's 10 to 11 in the morning. I'm probably not really processing the medication much at the moment. I will try and remember to check in later to see how we're getting on with 30 milligrams. Well, I've just heated up my lunch, which is some leftover pasta, and boy, do I not want it. I just put some in my mouth. It felt like I was eating rubber. So clearly, whenever I up my dosage, I'm going to get a little bit of a rush of appetite suppressant. But that's okay. I can deal with it. I'm going to eat some of this anyway to stay healthy. But I do not want it. Yeah, quick update on medication, because it's been a while and I am absolutely full of hay fever because it is mid-June in the UK. And I look rubbish, but I'm just going to give you my updates anyway. So I made it all the way up to 60 milligrams on the Elvance, and it just wasn't doing it for me. At 50, I felt fine. At 60, I felt I did have an elevated heart rate. My phone warned me about it. It was too much for me. But I still didn't feel like I was getting the mental clarity that I was seeking. So that medication ended. I did then get a review of my boss, and he was like, last few weeks you've been really on the ball, really proactive, really good. And I thought, yeah, I guess I have been. So the medicine must have done something, even if it's not giving me that like mental clarity that I wanted. So anyway, I'm on a different medication now. Just started this morning, 10 milligrams. Looking into it, the Elvance one only says it's for children and teenagers, which is why I think it's not giving me the full effect. This new one I'm on, I can't remember the name right now, it's for children and adults. So hopefully that's better. I think they've just given me originally they gave me the cheapest one, or the one they've got the most stock of. But anyway, here's hoping that this new medication has more of an impact on my mental state. So I'll keep you updated. Hey, just a quick update on how the new medication is going. This is second day on 10 milligrams. First of all, my hay fever is better today, not brilliant. I think most people would hate where I'm at, but for me, it's good. So that helps. Secondly, I think this medication is helping. I had about 3 or 4 days in between medications where I wasn't on anything, and I slept most of the day for 3 of those days. But I'm feeling good today. I even did little things that I normally just look at and immediately forget. So stupid things like we got a new outside bin. It didn't have numbers on, didn't want it to go missing. We'd ordered some stickers, and then they've been sat on the table for 2 weeks. So I thought, oh, bins get collected today. I'll go out and grab and stick the new stickers on there so that we don't lose the bin when it gets collected. Then I looked out and saw the path out in the front garden where I filled it with stone. I'd like laid a new path with big pebbles, but I'd run out. I had like a foot where there was no stones, and then we've gone out and bought another bag of stones, and then it's just sat in the garden for about 3 weeks. So I went out and grabbed the stones and the sand that just filled the path within 10 minutes. So I'm doing those little things that I normally don't do because of my brain. So I am feeling more productive, I am feeling more proactive, and that's only on 10 milligrams. So we'll see how we get going with more, especially as hopefully hay fever wears off or changes. The symptoms at the moment is all in my nose. I'm sure it'll move up to my eyes at some point. Every pollen does something different, doesn't it? But we'll see how that goes. But at the moment, I'm feeling positive about this new medicine. Little update for you. It is 10:50 a.m. and I'm making myself a cheese sandwich because I've got the munchies. So I think it's fair to say that this new medication, which is called methylphenidate, does not suppress my appetite. Which is sad because I was kind of enjoying losing a few of those pounds around the waist, but hey ho. Instead, I will eat my feelings and my cheese sandwich. It is the 16th of October and I've just had my final call with the ADHD medication service that I'm using, and I've now completed titration. So my final dosage is going to be 70 milligrams of methylphenidate, which does seem like quite a high dosage, but that's what works for me. How has it been so far? I suppose it's been quite an interesting journey. To start with, I was concerned it wasn't working and had to change medicines. But as the medicines have changed, it's really had an impact for me. The main impact has been at work. So my boss keeps telling me what a difference there is in my work output, and I've noticed it as well. And that's what I really wanted it to do this for. Because work had been so up and down for me. I have great days and I have rubbish days, and that's just how it goes, right? So yeah, I'm really pleased. In fact, I've even been given like a team to manage in the Philippines, and like it's just been brilliant. So that's been the best thing. Sleeping still isn't great, but then it never was. It's not any worse, it's not any better. I don't sleep a lot. I probably sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. Fidgeting and squirming, still do those things all the time. But I'm aware of them now, and I'm trying to I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I'm more aware of my fidgeting, but I'm trying to stop it. But maybe if I was less aware of it, it wouldn't bother me as much. Food, I'm able to eat lunch now. Sometimes I even want my lunch. But if I skip lunch, it's not a big deal either for me. But the best thing is around snacking. I used to snack all the time. Now, although that sort of behavioural feeling for me there is still there to snack, I'll find that what I'll do is I'll go and make my cuppa and get a piece chocolate bar or something, and then I'll sit down, drink my cuppa, and then realise, oh, I haven't eaten my chocolate, and then I'll take it back. So I'm really snacking a lot less, which is great. My weight has probably come down slightly since I've been on the medication, but not greatly. There's some of that's life stuff as well. I'm getting older. As I'm working longer hours, I'm moving less. So, you have to bear in mind that there's lots of different factors in these sorts of things. One other side effect that I guess I should share in the spirit of being honest, is that it has reduced my libido. But again, part of that is that I am 40 now, so that was probably going to happen anyway. And honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much. But just something to bear in mind if that's something that would concern you. And they did say that should wear off as well eventually. So all in all, I think it's been good. It doesn't fix all my problems, but it's fixed a lot of them, or at least the key part, which was being able to just sit down and do my work all day. And other things I can now start to fix with the different ways you might fix those things, like meditation or yoga or whatever works for you. So my prescription will now be passed over to my doctor, and they will take it over from there, and then I'll just start to regularly collect from a doctor. And I think I need to check in with the ADHD service once a year to check that the medicine's still working, take my blood pressure, make sure I'm still healthy and all that sort of thing. So yeah, that's it really. It's been thank you for coming along on a journey with me. I realise it's been a long one for me. It's probably been about 10 minutes for you, but it's been really worth doing. I've learned so much doing this because, I've never done anything like this before. I've never even vlogged before, so it's been really interesting. But I just thought I really learned a lot watching other people's vlogs, and I know there's huge appetite out there to understand what people's journeys like through this process. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, or at least found it interesting. If you have, please leave me a question or a comment. If you do have any questions, I'll try to get to them. Just bear in mind, I'm not a doctor. I won't be giving medical advice. All I can give you is my opinion or my experience. So please do just bear that in mind. Otherwise, thank you for sticking with me, and stick around to see the myriad of hobbies that I get through thanks to my constant need to create. Thanks to ADHD. So yeah, have a look around, check out the other videos. Okay, so it's editing Ant here. I was just looking at the video and I thought there's tons that I missed, obviously, because my brain doesn't work properly. The first thing I thought I should mention was, let's see if I can remember them all this time, the mental clarity. So you might not believe it listening to me talk, but I do have a lot more mental clarity. And by that, I mean, I used to feel literally paralyzed by just the thoughts running around in my head. Like I couldn't grasp onto a single thought for long enough to complete it. Like it felt like if you imagine like Wheel of Fortune, kind of each prong is a thought, and it would whiz around so fast that anytime I tried to think something, it would move on to the next thing. And it was incredibly frustrating. When I'm medicated, I don't get that. That is, and probably one of the reasons I didn't mention it is because it's like a noise that once it stops, you don't keep thinking about it. I mean, it's almost literally what it is. I've kind of forgotten almost what it's like to feel that constant, you know. So that's hugely beneficial. I wanted to talk briefly around that descending or ascending feeling of calm. I do get that, and sometimes it's almost overpowering. When I first sort of got up to the level of medication that gave me that, I think I stayed in bed for like the first half of the day because it almost calms me too much. It makes me feel, I think I basically get a lot of dopamine, and I find that when that first hits, I basically I start sending a lot of messages to people. You know, all the messages that you haven't responded to for ages, or like you haven't spoken to your mum for a week and you feel guilty about it, but suddenly I'm messaging my mum, my sister, my friends, like, how is everyone, blah, 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 blah. And I've got like a little window of maybe like an hour. If they come back to me, we'll have a good chat. But then if they come back to me after the dopamine's worn off, I'm just like, oh, oi, this guy, try me again tomorrow when the dopamine's back. But it can be quite a strong feeling, like it's a sensation. It's almost a tingling. And it kind of makes me want to sit still, which is a new one. But if I push through it, and what I've found with experience is when I take the medication, it does come quite quickly, this sensation, within about 10 minutes. If I get straight up and into the shower, that's the best thing for me to do, because otherwise I sit here going, oh, I should get in the shower, but I feel too relaxed. So if I get straight up into the shower and then keep moving, like it's almost like it switches what it does. Instead of keeping me calm, it keeps me busy doing what I'm meant to be doing. So I just thought that was an interesting one. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that at all. And the other thing I want to talk about is that you're not meant to drink alcohol or have caffeine on the medication. And I don't know how strict that is, but I've taken it as very strict. In February, I actually started giving up drinking in advance of going on the medication. I did the research and I knew that I would have to give it up. So I'd switched to caffeine-free coffee and stopped drinking, which was incredibly hard because I was like not going out partying a lot, but just drinking a lot in the evenings, mostly to self-medicate my inability to sleep. So now I just raw dog not being able to sleep, so that's fun. And on the whole, I'm appreciative of the fact that I can't drink, because when you can drink, you've always got an excuse to drink. Maybe not you, but me personally, you know, when you've got ADHD, you can have quite an addictive personality, and I felt like I was drinking too much, and anytime that I could, I would, because I could. Or I didn't have a good enough reason not to, but now I've got a good reason not to, so I don't drink. The good thing about the medication is you can stop whenever you want and start whenever you want. It's not like something like antidepressants, which you have to be really careful about. Taking and not take. You can't just cut off my antidepressants. It'll affect you. You can't expect them to start working right away. You need to build up. It's not like that with ADHD medication. It affects you for that day. And so what I have done is, like, I went to a 40th birthday party. I checked with the prescriber. They said, yeah, just don't take the medication that day and you'll be fine. But they did also say, I would suggest you don't take it the next day as well, because you might find that you get quite strong anxiety, which is interesting. I actually did take it the next day, I think, and didn't get the anxiety, but that's something to be aware of if you're in that situation. It could happen. But the other interesting thing that's happened is it's actually changed my relationship with alcohol. So I've got to the point now where I quite often don't take my medication on a Saturday and or a Sunday, because I don't feel the need to. It's not like I need to concentrate on my work, and I can just feel like I don't want to have to be medicated. I'll be medicated when I need to be medicated, but I don't want my body to feel like I've always got to be medicated. So the weekend, I'm quite often not taking it now. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So at the weekend, I'm quite often not taking it now. But what I found is I will then have a drink at the weekend, but it's changed the way that I drink. So I used to have one, then have another one, then have another one, then think I shouldn't have another one, then have another one, and then start to feel sleepy and pass out on the sofa. Now I have one drink, maybe I'll have two drinks, and then I'll think, I'm not getting what I want from this, so I'll have a cup of tea. So and again, I'm really appreciative of that, because it's nice to be able to join in and have a drink if that's your culture or if that's what you're into, which I am. But I don't then feel that need to just keep drinking and drinking and drinking. And I spoke to my prescriber about this, and he said that that's quite common as well. It's, the medication is affecting that addictive part of your brain. So that's good to know. And there was one other thing as well, actually. I was talking to my boss, because, I said that I've been doing really well at work. And he said one of the things that he's noticed is that, I just react a lot more calmly to things, and I don't jump in half-cocked, and I don't get annoyed at people, and, I guess just being a bit more mature and wise at work. And when I was having sort of my sign-off session with the prescriber, I mentioned this, and I said, I don't know if that's just part of the medication or if that's just part of age, I don't know. And he said, no, it is probably the medication. It's really common for people to say that, because it's around emotional regulation. So the medication's also helping to regulate my emotions. So, you know, I think when I first recorded this, I probably only covered a couple of bits, but on reflection, there was a lot more to cover off, a lot more benefits that, you know, I don't have the cycling thoughts I can't control. I'm more emotionally regulated. I'm not drinking alcohol or caffeine. You know, there's way more good than there's bad here, I would say. But the medicine does affect everyone differently, and there are different medicines that they might try you with. So, as I mentioned, I'm sharing my experience because I found it helpful seeing other people's experiences on YouTube when I was doing my research. But that mine is not the only experience that could be had. You might be given different medication, you might experience it differently. One of my friends who's a psychologist told me that about a third of people, the medicine works really well. About a third of people, the medicine kind of works okay. And about a third of people, the medicine doesn't work at all. So that's just anecdotal. I don't have a stat. That's not like a real stat. So by all means, do your own research. But your mileage may vary, is what I'm saying. But on the whole, I think it's been really beneficial. I can't believe it. I mean, it's honestly turned my work life around, and it's made life at home a lot easier too. So for me, it's been an overwhelming success. I hope that you experience the same level of success with it.